know, the Chinese martial arts, in many respects, could be compared to an iceberg. If you look at an iceberg, only the tip shows above the surface, but beneath the surface is actually the bulk of material that constitutes that iceberg. And in many respects, the Chinese martial arts is very similar. Now, if you walk into a Chinese martial arts school, anywhere, you'll see people doing drills and exercises and forms, probably practicing basics, strikes and kicks and other blocks, other types of movements, perhaps martial art forms, many of them based on the movements of different animals. Almost all of that everybody knows. But what the Chinese have tended to keep very close to the vest are the advanced applications of all of that material at deeper levels. The Chinese martial arts have tended to keep very closely guarded several very important aspects. Probably the two most guarded areas are what's known as the internal system and its many branches, and what's known as the applied system in terms of applying a martial art, which the Chinese refer to as the poison hand or dim mak. So first of all, what is the internal system? An internal system implies that beyond the physical movements that you can see, that there's something else being cultivated and trained at the same time. And there is. There's a Chinese word called qi, spelled either qi or chi, which means energy. And one of the things that the ancient Chinese discovered was that if you move in a particular way, and you breathe in a particular way, and you settle your attention and your mind in a particular way, and then you link all of those elements together through the eyes, so the eyes, the mind, the movement, and the breath, and using the mind intent to guide all of that at the same time, that energy, or qi, which actually constitutes the field of life throughout the universe, becomes available and accessible and can be guided by the intention of the practitioner. Quantum physics, of course, tells us that the entire universe is composed of energy. So all of us have energy, but in the average person, much of the energy has become stagnant and unavailable on call to the human being. Part of the genius of the ancient Chinese was that they figured out over centuries how to have all of that information, that energetic information, harnessed and available to the human being, where it could be utilized for health, for martial arts, and for spiritual evolution and cultivation. It all depends on the intention and the training methods that the person is utilizing. So in martial arts, any martial art, whether it's from anywhere in the world and certainly from China, everybody will be given probably very basic instruction on how to breathe. Now all of us know how to breathe. No one needs to be taught. But in martial arts, in order to enhance power, people have learned how to synchronize their breath with their motion using the mind intent, and then using the mind further and the body to penetrate into the parts of the body that they're throwing or striking or guiding to enhance their power. And a lot of that information is taught openly, but the more subtle and advanced aspects of that have tended to be buried and hidden away. Now, one of the problems with information that becomes buried and hidden away, if it's too secret, then when the last person who was the holder of that information passes away, often that knowledge is then gone from the earth. It's been known over the centuries that many different Chinese styles of Kung Fu and other Chinese martial arts have completely disappeared off the face of the earth, because sometimes a master would only teach their children, their son or their daughter, or just a handful of behind closed door disciples. And then when that master passed away, and their disciples, maybe they hadn't been fully trained yet, were left without a teacher, all that information was lost. One of the things that I have faithfully done now for close to 60 years is go to the greatest Chinese martial art and other martial art masters that I've been able to find. I mean, the legends, the pioneers, and spend 20, 25, 30 years with them, extracting the highest level of information and then preserving it in what I call the core system, so that all of that information will survive another generation into posterity, into history. In that pyramid or iceberg, it's also like a pyramid, where only the tip is above the surface, but buried underneath is a wide variety of other information. Some of the things at the deeper levels, I mentioned involve the internal system. A lot of that is known as Qigong, different ways to breathe and to synchronize breath with movement. Often when the hands are actually placed on the body to stimulate acupuncture points and meridians, acupuncture pathways in a particular way, combined with the focus of the mind and with a particular type of breathing, that actually cultivates a unique type of energy that can penetrate more readily. Now, that penetration can be used for healing, for healing imbalances in a person's body. It can be used to heal imbalances in a person's emotional state or mental state. Or, in terms of martial art, it can be used to penetrate down into the levels of the blood vessels, the nerves, pressure points, and acupuncture points. And those acupuncture points, which when stimulated the right way with a needle or with a hand in massage or with an herb, when it's stimulated in a healthy way, it causes the organism health to improve. But if the strike is delivered in a way as to stop the flow, the free flow of qi, blood, or bodily fluids, it leads to the person's physical functioning becoming impaired or even stopped. And that's why that part of the art, known as the poison hand, because the hand delivering a strike in a particular way can actually have an almost poison-like effect on the health of the body. It's also known as a dim muck, which translates as the death touch. They found that by hitting the points in a particular way, with a particular energy, might actually stop the flow of qi or energy through that point and through that pathway into vital organs like the heart, the lungs, liver, spleen, kidney, and would again adversely affect a person's health. Now, information like that obviously is so dangerous, it can't just be openly shared with anyone, which is why we have that pyramid or that iceberg, so that as the student lets their intention over time be known to their teacher and they're trusted enough to have that level of information revealed, then they can access that information later. One of my teachers said that in learning from a teacher, you have to show the teacher what he called your true face. In other words, who you authentically are as a human being. And over the years, the ancient Chinese masters felt that this information was so precious and so powerful and so special that they would actually rather see it disappear off the face of the earth than have it transmitted into the wrong hands. And so our job, if we're really serious about studying the Chinese martial arts or internal systems, is to keep ourselves in the room long enough to access the treasures that are there. When you're digging for buried treasure, it takes time. And some things can't be taught all at once, even if we wanted to. One has to have a certain level of skill in order to access the next level of skill, and then the next level of skill. And that's why the arts are taught in a certain sequence, and during the practice, we have drills and exercises to create skills. It's been said that drills create skills, and that's very true. And so in all of the classes, whether it's Kung Fu or Tai Chi or Qigong, we have drills that link mind, body, movement, and breath, and that creates the requisite preparatory skills that then allow us to go deeper over time. And so, again, I hope that you will come and join us in this exploration and learn how to explore the means and the depth through which we have been teaching and accessing these martial arts now for going on 5,000 years. We hope that you will become the latest link in that chain.